Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be discussing a few news stories that caught my eye, and as usual all sources I used in order to create this video will be linked in the description box down below for those who wish to check them out for themselves. So to start off today's video, I have a news story from The Guardian, who wrote an article about mental illness and debt. The article states that those with poor mental health are much more likely to be in debt or have some form of money troubles. It also said that 1 in 3 people worry about finances on a regular basis, to the point that it has negative implications on their health. The article explains that those in debt should seek help in an attempt to not only stabilise their finances, but to prevent a downward spiral in their mental health and well-being. 44-year-old James has never been diagnosed with anxiety or depression, but he struggles to cope with workflow and, of course, cash flow also. James was self-employed and worked in the IT industry. However, over the years, he began to get himself into debt. The article describes that during the quieter times of his business, James would excessively worry about money, and this would impact on his mental health as well as other things like sleep. Through research, it's thought that those with poor mental health are 3 times more likely to encounter debt and other finance issues, and 46% of all of those in money difficulties said that they also faced mental health issues because of their situation with money. A massive 67% of all people stated that one of the most important elements of a happy and healthy life was being and feeling in control of their finances. Many banks, credit card companies, building societies are actually required to treat those in debt sympathetically, and they are meant to help those in need find a solution to their troubles, especially those with mental health conditions. This is under the lending code. Moving on to the second story of today's video, which focuses on fly tipping. Here in England, it has been noted that fly tipping has increased by a massive 40% over the period of the last 6 years. Let's think of all the possible reasons for this to happen. Firstly, it could possibly be that despite councils and politicians telling us that we need to take care of our environment, they have actually reduced bin locations massively. I'm not sure if this has happened in other areas, but definitely in my area of England. The second reason for this could possibly be, of course, the budget cuts to councils. Once over, you would see many people cleaning up the streets and whatnot. However, you don't really see that anymore. Again, that could just be what's going on in my area, but it's definitely happening. You just don't see anyone cleaning up anymore. And obviously, if an issue is not dealt with, then it's only going to continue to get worse. Thirdly, there aren't as many police around to tackle fly tipping problems. In many areas, police funding has also been cut, and you never really see police walking around the streets anymore. There are no authorities punishing those who litter, so people are simply getting away with it. And finally, I think people's attitudes have changed. Society has changed. I think it depends on what area of England you live in. But again, for my area, and I know I keep talking about it and I'm sorry, but in my area things have gotten worse. There's litter all over, all sorts of stuff on the floors. It's a messy area. And to be honest, it's not exactly a nice area to live in anymore. I do think that there's many reasons for the increase in fly tipping, and it isn't just one particular group or company or individual's fault. It's a number of people's faults, and there's many different reasons for this increase in fly tipping. However, I guess those are just some of the ones that came to mind. The article I read on this does say that a possible other reason for the increase in fly tipping is that the courts are not imposing the toughest sentences to those who commit the fly tipping crime. Perhaps that's due to our overcrowded prisons. The maximum penalty for fly tipping is £50,000 or 12 months in prison. The final news story that I have for you today is that 2 police officers have sabotaged investigations by forging documents, lying about investigations, and concealing evidence. They were involved in child abuse investigations and have now both been jailed. One was jailed for 2 years and the other for 18 months. The article describes what they were doing as lazy and abusing their positions to help society and vulnerable victims. They had reportedly simply shut down cases rather than doing the work to properly and correctly investigate them, and went out for a 4-hour lunch break to a Chinese restaurant. One of the former officers, Sharon Patterson, also had once ditched work so that she could go and get a manicure done. The other former officer, named Lee Pollard, had also ditched his duties in favour of other activities. Investigators found that he had purposely destroyed 4 photographs which were evidence to a case. He also failed to investigate an allegation of sexual touching by a teenager, and then lied, saying that no further action needed to be taken. This situation first came to light back in 2014 when a suspect had realised that her signature had both been forged and was misspelt on a statement which had been taken by Patterson. The judge, Nigel Lickley, explained that, quote, "People relied on you to do your job to the standard expected. You abused that position for your own selfish purposes," end quote. This case really shocked me, and I actually had to read it through a few times to really try to get my head around why anyone would want to do things like that just out of pure laziness. But what do you think of these 3 stories? Let me know in the comments section down below. Thank you so much for listening to this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave this video a big thumbs up. If you're new here, click on that subscribe button. Check out the sources which will be linked in the description box down below if you want to, and I very much hope to see you in my next video.